Hello there, I'm Emma. This is Nurturing by Nature. I'm at our Pamp Hill store, which is located just above Wimborne. I'm just going to help you with a few questions that we've had through recently about how to store it, what food, how much to feed. So we make raw dog food. As you can see, that's what's predominantly behind me in our freezers here. This store has got other things in, lots of natural treats, but this is the raw food. And how do you start going about? How much do you feed? This is what we want to cover today. So there's a lot of information out there in raw food, and it really depends on who you want to talk to and who you want to listen to, where you get your information from. However, at Nurturing by Nature, we believe you feed a variety over time, so it's okay to have the same proteins in the food as long as you're adding in different proteins, different vitamins and minerals over time. It can be complicated, but it doesn't have to be. This is one of our 500 gram packets of minced chicken. And 500 grams is going to roughly feed a 20 kilo dog for the day. This, with anything additional to it, so an adult dog would have between 2 to 3% of their weight in meat per day. So 2 to 3% of their body weight in meat per day, which is around about 500 grams, give or take. That's a good starting guess for a 20 kilo dog. This is frozen, it's raw, as you can see, and these are really good handy little packets that you can keep in the freezer. And obviously, as it's raw, until you're going to feed it, we do keep it in the freezer. I've got 18 packets in this tray, which in general fit in a drawer in a freezer in the home. Give or take a few, because everyone has a different freezer in their home. And the other thing that's handy to have is a nice pot or box or an old ice cream tub that you can defrost the food in, because you're going to defrost it in the fridge to keep it nice and safe. If you leave it out on the side, you're going to introduce more bacteria to it. So defrosting it in the fridge is the safest way to do it. It takes longer, but it's safer. We want to stay safe. It's raw meat. It's going in your fridge. Some people are incredibly lucky and they can have a whole freezer dedicated to dog food. And if you've got space in the garage, in a heated garage or an area outside, even in a utility room that you could have a small freezer in, well, that's perfect, because you can top it up once or twice a month with your dog food, and that's how you store it. And then you defrost it in the fridge in a tub like this to keep everybody safe. Not to say that our products aren't safe, because they are, because we send them all off for bacterial testing. So just in case that was another thought that popped into your mind, what about that? Everything is tested. All of our products are fully traceable, so we can get this back to the farm that it came from when we go back to our suppliers. So please rest assured that we take this very seriously, and our products are looked after as well as they possibly can. So when you store it at home, you're going to keep it in the freezer until you need it. And if you're out on the road, then you need to take a freezer type compartment box. You can use an old polystyrene box, you can use a freezer bag box, just as long as if you're moving it and it's still solid, you can put it back in the freezer within 24 hours. That's absolutely fine. How much is it going to cost me to feed a raw diet? That is a really good question, and it's as much as you want to spend, in all honesty. Our chickens start at $1.69 for 500 grams, which is a really good price, but it is just chicken. So bear in mind, you do need to switch up the proteins and feed different meats to make sure your dog is getting a good balanced diet. We can do other things. Obviously, we've got the chicken, and we use chicken as a base because it's a really good base for a raw diet, because dogs, cats, they would naturally be able to catch, kill, eat a chicken. So it does work. But you have other proteins as well, which is you want to be able to include those in your dog's food. You could try something like this. This is wild partridge, 500 grams. But it's game, we have to keep it separate. Also in here, we have chicken with mixes. So we're looking at ox liver, we've got chicken liver. So liver's really good, amazing source of vitamins for your animals. Cats and dogs need this. You've got natural sources of things like taurine found in the heart, muscle meat. So all of these things you need to think about over time. But as long as you feed different proteins over time, it really doesn't have to be as complicated as it sounds. Our packaging is a bit boring, but it does end up in the bin. All the information you need on the packaging is there. So like this product here, this is chicken and turkey. Tells you the weight and it also tells you the product. Can I feed raw food and kibble at the same time? It's your dog. You can do whatever you like. But it's recommended that if you are going to feed the two, you weigh them out correctly for what they need and you feed them at separate meals because they will digest them differently. And you'll see that from the poo that comes out. You'll see a difference in their poo, and it's massively different because there's so much more waste with something like a kibble because they can't really use all of it. How often should I feed my pets a raw diet? Well, as much as you want. Obviously, if it's 100% raw, you feed your dog at least once a day. You can feed your dog up to 4 times a day if you want to. Younger dogs and puppies, they're going to want to feed more often, smaller meals. But yes, there's some people who are more than happy to feed their dog once a day, and it gives their tummies a nice chance to rest. So it's whatever suits your home life, really. You can feed your dog as often as you want. You may even find they'll go a day without food to let their tummies completely settle. And that way, they'll just have a meal the next day. You don't have to compensate more necessarily. Do I need to add extra supplements into a raw diet? Well, if you're just going to feed one protein, like chicken, then yes, you're going to have to give them more because they're not going to get everything they need just from the chicken. You can feed supplements such as Super Green Sprinkle, like this one here, which is Canine Shore from Phytopet. This has got spirulina, turmeric, rosehip, beetroot in it, and this is great as an additional. They're getting extra vitamins and minerals from this. But the best way to feed a raw diet is to feed a variety, different protein sources, different meats. You can even go foraging for your pet's food if you want to by picking up things like stinging nettles, put them in the freezer, scrunch them up and put them on their food. That's a really good source of free vitamin C. Does feeding a raw diet smell? Well, let's be honest, it is raw meat and it can do, yes, but benefits outweigh that massively, and the dogs don't really smell after it. Speaking to a lady this morning, her cats are on raw. Since her cats have been on raw, their poo does not smell at all. So sometimes when you're adding fish into their diet, when you're adding tripe into their diet, yes, their breath can be a bit smelly, but the benefits of feeding these things like this is far outweighs a little bit of discomfort with a smelly breath for half an hour, so you should go for it. So if that's piqued your interest, if you think maybe actually I would like to give raw feeding a go, then get in touch with us at Nurturing by Nature because we are a very friendly bunch and we're more than happy to help you on your journey, and your dogs will love you for it. They love the raw food. There's the 18 packets there. And that's a nice defrost tub. Unfortunately, we can't get more of these, but you can pick them up at supermarkets. You have different flavours. Okay, you got at the moment we've got like the livers in, chicken knox liver, chicken liver. We've got the amazing partridge on its own. We've got the chicken and turkey over here. Plain chicken as well. And that's chicken heart. Excellent sauce of taurine for chicken hearts for cats as well. And then you've got your fish mixes here. Chicken and salmon, you've got white fish. Got some of these little chicks. Now these are good for cats, but dogs will also eat them. You've got these sprats like I picked out here. These are brilliant because they're individually frozen, so you can take one out at a time, or 2 or 3. Got some Dorset trout shown on here. Whole trout, pieces of trout. This, they will eat all of that in one go, potentially. And while some of the proteins we can't get hold of, we do have some things like the beef chunks, the tripe chunks, and the minced beef. But if you watch this space, you'll see an awful lot more of those things coming with our name. You can got a whole hair there.